Alright, since my dolly post got everyone so riled up, let's take it a little farther, talk about them some more. Now, everyone says they're so unsafe and they can just drop and collapse going down the road and ruin the vehicle and blah blah blah. Well, if you had some of those in the ditch dollies, I'd agree with you. They can just drop going down the road if you forget to do just even one simple little thing. But with the Collins dollies, it's a little different. See this right here? This is a safety. That's all it is, a safety. When it's turned over like this, you can't pull the trip handle. It has to go up in order to drop the dollies. When you have it like this, the trip handle is sitting against its own weight with the vehicle on it. So it takes quite a bit of pressure to pull. So the heavier the load, the harder it's locked in place. And even if you do pull it, which it's not going to pull on its own going down the road, it's just not. But even if you do, nothing happened because there's another safety over here. So let's reset this. Stick the bar in, reset, drop it, reset it, reset it, drop it. We can do this all day long. In fact, I did it for about 20 minutes straight earlier, and I wore a hole right through my glove where the trip handle sits. So, in order for these to come down, you have to open this safety, then open the safety ratchet, then pull the handle and they can drop. That is 3 things that all have to fail in order for these to fall going down the road. 1, 2, 3. Without all 3 of those things failing, these are not going to drop. They can't. But now, let's talk about the other side of this. Let's talk about the guys who say this is way too complicated. It's way too many moving parts and way too much to have to remember to do on the side of the road. It takes way too long when you're trying to load up on the side of the road. Well, how many moving parts? There's 1 little latch, 2 little latches, 3, a trip handle, and the whole swing arm that pivots, 4. So how many more than the competitor? Well, we still have a swing arm on both, so that's the same. And since that other one has a main latch too, consider this the same. So all these extra moving parts you have so much trouble with is this and this. That's it. But if that's still too much for you, let's see what we can do about it. Say we want to set up our dollies. Let's put the bar in, crank it over. Notice you didn't hear a safety ratchet. That's because it's off. I didn't flip the handle and put it on. I'm also not going to flip this over and put it on. In all reality, you can go down the road in this position all day long. I'm sure that's not recommended by Collins, and it's not recommended by me either, because who am I? But you could go down the road like that all day. I've done it by accident quite a few times. I'm sure many of you have too. And nothing's going to happen because the main lock is locked until you pull it up. But if you want to be just a little bit safer, go ahead and flip that latch. And I know that might have been a little complicated for some of you. So there's another thing you can do if you want to be safe. You just reach over here and flip that latch. Oh my God, that was 2 locks that quick. Did you see that, or was it too fast for you? Let me try again. 1, 2. If that's too complicated for you and too hard for you to do on the side of the road, how do you make it home at the end of the day? How do you remember how to open the door of your tow truck? How do you remember what lever does what on your wheel lift? How do you remember what part of the bed is the top and the bottom? It's not rocket science, guys. It's very simple, and it's a very, very safe system. So, now that we've hurt a few feelings, got a few people riled up, tomorrow I'm going to take this U-Haul truck. I think it's like 204, 205 miles. I'm going to do it on the dollies. And I'll film it. And I'll check hub temperatures. And I'll check tire temperatures. And I'll show you guys. Why? Because I want to. Oh, and then always tie down your dollies. I mean, it's just a simple thing to do. And this is my method. I took a self-winding ratchet strap, took the normal hook end off of it and put one of these on to basically turn it into a little mini lasso strap, just like what's on the front wheels, because I don't like the Collins method. See, I'm not a total Collins fanboy. I don't like some of their stuff, but I don't like their straps and their method of doing it. So I do this. It's basically a mini lasso strap, either to this hook or to the handle. Depends on how I'm feeling that day. Quick and easy, simple tie down. Exactly how to tie down the wheel lift. Alright, I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see how this 200-mile trip goes. Well, we're at the first fuel stop for the day, like 45 miles in. Look, they're still there. Let's keep going. And yes, I know I said I was going to take temperature, but it's like 15 degrees outside. My thermometer was in the toolbox all night. It's too cold, it doesn't want to work. But the tires are still there, so we're going with it. Alright, we're up here on top of Santiam Pass, in the middle of the Cascade Mountains. Got my temp gun working. Let's see what we got. 65. 62. There you go. 61. 59. 55. So we're like 2 hours into the trip on these dollies with this box truck on them, and nothing's melted yet. Am I doing something wrong? Things just keep working. I don't know. It's weird. Alright, let's head down the mountain through the avalanche zone. It's pretty up here though. And yes, I know it's super cold outside, and that makes a difference on tire and bearing temperature. But if you look back through some of my other videos, you'll see I've done this same thing on 100-degree days, and everything was just fine. I think the hottest tire temperature I've ever seen is 127, and the hottest bearing temperature I've ever seen is 109. Both of those are well within specs to have no problems with the tires or the bearings. So yes, temperature makes a difference, does not make that big of a difference. Alright, we're about 3 hours into the trip now. Got about an hour to go. Let's see what we got. Ooh, 77. 80. 77. Yep. Wow. I'm surprised they haven't totally melted down with these super high temperatures. Getting a little hotter because we've been doing like 60 miles an hour for a while now. I don't know, 80 degrees, we go 61, we might burn them up. So these dollies are rated for 4,280 pounds. We got them on the scale there. 2,800 pounds. So for everyone worried about me overloading them, this truck isn't even close. Well, as you can see, there's no more box truck on the back. That's because we got it unhooked and delivered. But check this out. You're going to see something really weird here. If I take these and turn them, they spin. And the reason why is because the bearings didn't melt, the tires didn't melt, and everything's still just fine. You guys are all freaking out over nothing. So what did we learn here? Well, what we learned is that since Collins dollies are rated for an unlimited distance on highway driving, there's a highway, and that they were rated for far more than the amount of weight I was hauling, they're just fine. It's no different than driving the truck down the road. You're using it for exactly what they're meant to be used for. The bearings got to 80 degrees. The hottest temperature we saw, 80 degrees. That means I could have literally peed on the bearings and made them hotter than they got from driving down the road with a box truck on them. So everyone worried about melting the bearings and burning up the tires and everything going wrong, it's just fine. Oh, and did you see that? I just lifted dollies up on the truck with one hand. These Collins dolly mounts, they're pretty badass.